Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. Continuing from the last episode, I'll continue covering levels that were submitted to Retro Redux, starting off with this one, Crash Man Redux by Emrakull, with 13 plays and a score of -1. If you're interested in seeing what this challenge's rules were, check out the topmost link in the description below. Also, as always, the full disclaimer of this entire LP series is linked in the description below. Also in the description are the timestamps for all the levels I cover in these parts, so if you want to check for levels covered, expand the description. Well, this is different. Instead of using the crash lifts, this stage elects to use the count bombs and the dustman blocks. And there are a lot more explosive based enemies compared to the original level. Not to mention more explosive based gimmicks in general. And that's the end of the level. But one last surprise walking bomb before the end. I say that this stage was okay. Its challenges could have been extended further. It doesn't deserve a negative score. Second up is Journey to Space Crash Man Retro Redux by Clockman, with 19 plays and a score of -4. Let's see how this Redux compares with the previous one. Already the aesthetics look better. And all the enemies and gimmicks are being introduced in safer environments. and gradually escalated. Although the amount of escalation on display here is a bit too fast for my own taste. It should have been slowed down a bit. These are some neat enemy setups. Essentially, these are makeshift, more consistent crystal droppers. I don't know why this stage got a negative score. So far it looks fairly good. Nice introduction to the blocky enemy there. I'll point out good introductions as many stages get them wrong. Even this stage isn't perfect, as I feel its escalation of challenges is too rapid. Shortcut way, and it feels a lot safer that way too. Getting past here undamaged is quite difficult actually. You don't even get access to item 1 or item 2 in this level. This one was easier. I was starting to see why the stage got a negative score, because of that previous section with the crash lifts. But we're nearing the end of the level. Looking at the level progression. Overall, I say that this is a harder redux of Crashman stage. It was solidly constructed, so I say it's about decent. Checkpoint placement was on point, and most of the design felt fairly decent. I would stretch out the stage a bit so the escalation isn't as rapid. Third up is Napalm Man remixed by Replay Dash with 49 plays and a score of 13. Almost full set of special weapons and utilities. And all of them are from Mega Man 5. Sure, I'll definitely go for the lead tank. So far this stage is fairly easy. Graphics are fine. They feel reminiscent of the original level. In the original, these were waterfalls with flowing streams. There used to be a Cannon Joe here, I think. A freebie tank. I guess this is here to replicate Eddie. There was even a red tile there. There should be a power muscler nearby. Instead we have Squidons. The level design feels familiar but has been remixed a bit. At least here we don't need to worry about the missiles. Instead we have to worry about killer bullets. When I say missiles, I mean the jet missiles. The ones that would explode into shrapnel once you destroyed them. Stayed fairly close to the original level design, but mixed things... Stayed somewhat close to the original level design, but mixed things together around several points. And it's done. I say that this was okay. Forward up is Mans Propeller Paradise by Silent Haxorus with 30 plays and a score of 8. Airman, but taking place during the sunset. We have air tikis, but this time with fire traps on the sides. I guess to replace the drills. The Cotton Bions are the replacements of the Pippies. No wonder all these Airman Reduxes have the Cotton Bions. In some ways though, they're a lot less annoying. At least they don't spawn in new enemies once they drop their payload. I guess the Pookers on top of these footholders replace the Lightning Lords, but unlike the Lightning Lords, we can't destroy them. Good checkpoint placement. Oh, I wish I could destroy the pookers here. That doesn't seem to be the case. I don't have access to charge shots or the power adapter. The ending was right over here, so that was a nice climax of the stage, mixing together all the elements we've seen throughout the stage. I say that this was an okay to decent redux of Airman's level. Mega Man wins by doing almost nothing there. Fifth up is, I'm not gonna win, but whatever, by HJKN4, with 28 plays and a score of 4. A redux of Yamato Man, I guess? Something's up there, I know it. Is this an entirely separate pathway? It looks to be, so let me take the lower pathway first. Then I'll reset and get back to this checkpoint. Wait, something's to the left. I see the cracked block. The next checkpoint is probably down over there. Oh, and I hit it, of course. And I'm back over here. I'll complete the upper route first, and then I'll face off against Ringman. And already this route is tougher than the lower route. And this is where the two routes link up with each other. Time to face off against Ringman. He probably has the same weakness as Yamada Man. This was an okay Redux, I'd say. I like how there's separate routes, one for more skilled players and one for lesser skilled players. 6th up is Elec Man Electrified by SlowQuickman with 14 plays and a score of -1. Something's to the right there. I want to double check. The magnet beam. And wait, does this stage have alternate routes too? It looks like it does. Let me take the central route going upwards, then I'll take this route. In fact, I'm curious what's to the left here. Another separate route too. Let me take the leftmost route first, then I'll take the central route, then I'll take the rightmost route. Essentially different ways of climbing up this tower. Kinda broke the scrolling here. And that's the central route through this area. So now let's take the rightmost route. Is there anything else up here? There's nothing here, so why even put this here? Or at least make it part of the stage that connects to it. I understand it being there for show, for aesthetics, but why even be able to go over there? I'd understand if there's an E or M tank there, or perhaps some pickups, but there aren't any. Sprigman in this very enclosed arena. This was a very strange level. It had 2 routes which led to the exit and 1 which went nowhere. This would have been titled Dustman Remix Retro Redux by 14 Protoman. So 7th up is Mega Man 3 Wily Fortress Fusion by Lunar Chris with 37 plays and a score of 2. Starting off with Wily 1 from Mega Man 3. I'm surprised we haven't seen a redux of this earlier. We've had so many reduxes of Wily 1 from Mega Man 1, and not as many reduxes of Wily 1 from Mega Man 2 as I expected. Well, that's one way of making this mini-boss much harder. We only have access to utilities and weaponry from Mega Man 3. 3 different routes. Phew, that was a close one. How many alternate routes does this stage have anyways? I guess this is why the stage is called Fusion. I'm going to have to play through this at least once more. I'm back at this route split, so now I'm going to take the lower route, which leads into the sewers. There's no difference in this route, it seems. I guess I fall into here if I failed the jumping challenge earlier. So let's take a look at the right route before I took the uppermost route. It shouldn't be too hard to get back to it. I have my trusty dog after all. And meets up back at the same point. I was expecting the lower route to lead to somewhere else. But I guess it makes sense. That's the route you would take if you don't want to use rush shit to cross the gap. Even more route splits now. I'm liking how the stage has multiple alternate routes. That new shotgun placement is kind of jerkish if you were to ask me. It's really easy to fall into the pit there unless you use the rush jet. But now we can play as Proto Man. Unfortunately, Proto Man takes double damage in this stage, so I will need to use these E-tanks. Thank you, I want to swap back over to Mega Man. So far, this is up there as being my favorite level of the episode. Tied with Mans Propeller Paradise. In fact, we're nearing the end of the level. Checkpoint placement was on point. This fortress stage felt like two fortress stages combined back to back. So I say it's a solid decent. So the 8th and final level of this episode is Mega Man 7 Sprigman Retro Redux by gBD-NHB-00 with 31 plays and a score of 12. Immediately teaching us how the springs work. This room teaches us how the tri-cannon enemies work in isolation. Now this vertical section is combining use of the springs and the tri-cannon enemies. And now the tri-propeller enemies. More generous checkpoint placement than usual, but I'm okay with that. Kind of jerkish placement of an enemy there, as if you slide out of the door, you will take a hit. Wait a minute, is there something down there? I'm on the lookout for the super adapter. In fact, there's a super adapter block to the right. Hopefully I didn't miss it somewhere. And this screen forces you to wait for the punch blocks to destroy the cracked block. Before, you may have skipped over it, but here you're forced to take note of it. Overall, this stage has very solid design. How do I even make this jump? I don't think I can without the super adapter. I must have missed it somewhere. Oh well, probably a secret or hole in the wall I overlooked. But it does reward more attentive players. Overall, this was a wonderful redux of Sprigman's original stage. In fact, I'll mark this level as being my honorable mention of this episode. My favorite level this episode was Mans Propeller Paradise by Silent Haxorus, with another honorable mention going to Mega Man 3 Wily Fortress Fusion by Lunar. So that brings the running tally to 54 levels covered, 3 levels being skipped over as I already covered them during previous episodes, and 11 levels being skipped over as they were removed from the servers. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!